CNBC, MIT, and the Aspen Institute all coming together today for a day of discussions. We've got intelligence leaders here, political leaders here, all talking about cybersecurity, particularly now in the run-up to the election, just 33 days away. And I'm joined here by Michele Reagan, who is the Secretary of State of Arizona. And you are one of the few elected officials in the United States who's actually faced a hostile intelligence service of some kind penetrating your systems. You learned about this in Arizona earlier this year. Tell me about the moment where you're going about your daily life and suddenly you realize, you know what, the Russians or somebody are trying to hack into your databases.
It was, yeah, just a regular, typical day, getting ready to leave for work, and was taking my little dog outside before I locked him up for the day, and got a call from my chief of staff, and he asked me to sit down. And you know, that's never a good sign that something good's going to happen.
Bad news definitely coming, right?
So,
and what did he tell you?
He just said that we were contacted by the FBI, and the FBI, who monitors the dark web frequently, and they noticed on the dark web there was a credential that was for sale. That means a username and a password. And
from your systems?
It looked like it was from one of our systems that links to the voter registration database. And so really frightening, scary, considering we're in charge of almost 4 million people's personal information when it comes to that database. But and then they proceeded to say that, you know, as we dove into it a little more, that they thought it was a foreign entity, you know, someone coming from outside of our country and attacking us.
And that's an important point in all of this, because there's been so much attribution. People are saying it's Vladimir Putin, it's the Russians who are trying to hack into the DNC, election systems around the country. Do you know who hacked into Arizona at this point, and can you tell us?
Well, at first we didn't know, and it didn't really matter at that point whether it was two people sitting in you know, their dorm room, or whether it was a foreign entity. But we do know now that we were told that it was most likely Russian, and that they could trace it most likely back to there. But at that moment in time, most likely, correct. Okay. And you know, these guys were through several servers, as we know, and jump from IP address to IP address. And so, but at that moment in time, the most important thing was, what do we do with that database? How do we inspect it? We need to make sure that no information was taken, no information was altered, a virus wasn't inserted into that system. So we had to remove the entire system offline, and those were decisions that you had to make, you know, fairly quickly. And again, when you're not expecting to even hear such things as Russian hacker in your job, your daily job.
Fast forward to today. We've just got 33 days left until this election. What are you doing in Arizona to make sure that we have a clean election this fall?
What we're doing is being very, very vigilant, and we're also not saying that everything is A-OK, perfect, we don't need to check anymore. You know, we got lucky once. Our computer was hacked, but our voter registration system wasn't. That's very important to note. But to continue to say that that's always going to be the case would be folly. So what we're doing in Arizona is we're instituting such security protocols like multi-factor authentication, different ways to log into our systems, making sure that all users have new passwords, stronger passwords, that you can't enter things into the entry bars that perhaps are symbols, because we know that's how hackers enter in SQL injections into programs.
So we are almost out of time here, but give me a quick yes or no answer on this. Are you confident that we will have a clean election in November?
Well, you know, we're going to have a great election, absolutely. I mean, we don't have a choice, but yes, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we have a great election in Arizona and around the country, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today and speaking up about this. It's a big issue.
Michele Reagan from Arizona, thanks so much for being with us.